I stared at the text message glowing in the darkness of my truck cab at 2:28 a.m. It wasn't meant for me. My wife had accidentally sent it to my phone instead of his. Miss you already. Can't wait until he leaves for Chicago tomorrow. 5 years of my marriage crumbled with one text. I drove the remaining 11 hours home to Virginia in complete silence. No radio, no calls, just the hum of 18 wheels on asphalt, and my thoughts racing faster than my truck ever could. The sun was barely rising when I pulled into our driveway. My job hauling freight across state lines kept food on the table, but kept me away 3 or 4 days each week. I never thought that would be a problem. I met my wife 6 years ago when I delivered supplies to the office where she worked. I asked for her number while she signed for the packages. She laughed and wrote it on my clipboard. Her company went under during budget cuts back in January. After weeks of searching, the only place hiring was Denny's. She took the waitress job without complaint. I admired that about her. I parked my rig and sat there watching our house. The curtains were drawn. Her car was in the driveway. Was he still inside? The house was quiet when I entered. My wife was asleep in our bed, alone. I checked her phone while she slept. The messages made me sick. Photos and plans. Lies about where she was when I called from the road. It had been going on for 2 months. His name was Pete, according to her contact details. She had his schedule saved in her calendar. They met 4 times while I was on long hauls, twice at our house. I put the phone down exactly where I found it. I went to the kitchen and made coffee, loud. She stumbled in wearing my old t-shirt. Her face changed when she saw me. "You're home early," she said. Not, "I'm happy to see you," or "I missed you." Just surprised that her schedule was disrupted. I told her I got done sooner than expected. We ate breakfast like nothing was wrong. I asked about her shifts at Denny's. She told me about difficult customers. I watched her lie to my face without blinking. After breakfast, she went to shower. I checked her phone again. Pete worked at the same Denny's. He was a cook. That's how they met. His address was in her map's history. I memorized it. When she got out of the shower, I told her I needed to run errands. "What errands?" "You just got home." "Just stuff for the truck. Maintenance things." She would not look at me. I drove across town to his apartment complex. It was small, just 6 units in a converted house. His car was there. I recognized it from photos in her phone. I sat in my car for an hour, thinking and planning. I didn't want to do something stupid, but my hands wouldn't stop shaking. I went back home. She was getting ready for her shift. "I'll be home late tonight." "Late shift?" "Yeah, closing." I knew she was lying to me again. Her schedule on the fridge showed she was off today. I waited until she left. I followed her car at a distance. She didn't go to Denny's. She went straight to his apartment. I sat in my car watching her walk to his door. She didn't even look around to see if anyone was watching, too comfortable in her betrayal. I waited 15 minutes. Then I walked up to his door and knocked. He opened the door wearing just sweatpants, no shirt. A tattoo covered his chest. He didn't know who I was. "Can I help you?" he asked. I pushed past him into the apartment. My wife was sitting on his couch. Her uniform was on the floor. She was wearing his bathrobe. Her face went white. "What are you doing here?" I ignored her and turned to him. "You know she's married, right?" He backed up. "Look, man, she said you guys were separated." I said, "Hell no, we are not separated." I looked at my wife. "Is that what you told him?" She stood up. "I was going to tell you. Things haven't been right between us for a long time." "What things?" "You're never home. I'm alone all the time. I'm working, providing for us. I need more than money," she said. He tried to slip past me to the door. I blocked his path. "You're not going anywhere. This is between you two," he said. "You made it my business when you slept with my wife in my house." His eyes widened. He didn't know. that I knew he was in my house with my wife. My vision blurred. I felt my control slipping. "I think you should leave," he said. Something snapped inside me. All the hours on the road, all the missed birthdays and holidays for work, all for her. I lunged at him. My fist connected with his jaw. He stumbled backward, crashed into a lamp. It shattered on the floor. My wife screamed. He caught himself against the wall. Blood trickled from his mouth. "Stop it," my wife yelled. I didn't listen. I grabbed him by the throat. I slammed him against the wall. I hit him again and again. My knuckles split open. His nose cracked under my fist. My wife pulled at my arm. I shoved her away. She fell onto the couch. A neighbor pounded on the door. "Police are on their way," they shouted. I didn't stop. Years of loading heavy freight had made me strong. He couldn't defend himself. I heard sirens in the distance. Still, I didn't stop. Not until he crumpled to the floor, not moving. My wife knelt beside him. "What have you done?" she cried. The police arrived minutes later. They found me sitting on the steps outside, my hands bloody. I didn't resist when they handcuffed me. I didn't argue when they read my rights. Inside, paramedics worked on him. My wife gave her statement, crying. The police car was cold. I watched through the window as they loaded him into an ambulance. At the station, they photographed my hands, took my statement. I told them everything, about the text, about following her, about finding them together. The detective nodded his head as I spoke. "You're looking at assault charges," he said. "Is he going to be okay?" I asked. "He'll live. Broken nose, concussion, some stitches." I felt relief mixed with shame. They put me in a cell, concrete walls, metal toilet. I sat on the thin mattress. Hours passed. A court-appointed lawyer came. He explained the charges, the potential sentence, up to 5 years, probably less as a first offense, but still some jail time, all because I couldn't control myself. I couldn't walk away. I spent the night in the holding cell, no sleep, just staring at the ceiling, wondering how everything fell apart so fast. In the morning, they took me to court. The judge set bail too high for me to pay. I was transferred to the county jail to await trial. The county jail smelled like bleach and sweat. My cell was 8 by 10 feet. My cellmate was serving time for drug possession. He didn't ask why I was there. I didn't tell him. The days blurred together. I woke up and I ate. We only got to go outside for an hour a day. I read torn paperbacks that were available for us inmates. I slept. I repeated. My lawyer visited again after 3 days. "Your wife posted your bail," he said. I laughed without humor. Why would she do that? I think she feels responsible. I didn't respond. "The district attorney is offering a deal," he continued. "What kind of deal?" "Plead guilty to simple assault. 6 months with time served, 2 years probation. And if I don't take it, they'll push for aggravated assault. That's up to 5 years. I nodded. "What about him? Is he pressing charges?" "Yes, and filing a civil suit for medical expenses." Of course he was. I asked the lawyer if I should take the deal. The lawyer thought it was a good stepping stone to get it over with and get on with my life. I was released on bail the next day. My wife wasn't there to pick me up. I called a cab. I didn't have access to an Uber driver because I didn't have a phone. I told the driver to take me to a motel, not home. I couldn't face that house. The motel was cheap. I sat on the bed and called my boss. I explained everything. He was understanding but firm. "Come back when this is resolved." I hung up. No job. No home I wanted to return to. Just a court date and a broken marriage. My wife called that night. I almost didn't answer. "Are you okay?" she asked. "No." Silence stretched between us. "I'm sorry," she finally said. "For what part? Cheating or getting caught?" She didn't answer. I told her I wanted a divorce. "I know." More silence. "Your clothes and things are packed. I can bring them wherever you are. Leave them in the garage. I'll get them when you're at work. Okay. She hung up. I stared at the phone. 5 years of marriage ended in a 2-minute call. The next day, I met with my lawyer again. I signed the plea agreement. The court date was set for the following week. I spent the days in between looking for work. No one wants to hire someone facing jail time. I went to the house when I knew she would be gone. I collected my things from the garage, some clothes, important documents, photos I couldn't leave behind. Our wedding picture was there. I left it. The house felt foreign, like it belonged to someone else. I was a visitor in my former life. I didn't linger. Before the court date, I went to a storage unit and put all my things in and prepaid for 7 months. I had a feeling I was going to do some time. The court date arrived. I wore the only decent clothes I had left. The proceedings were brief. I pled guilty. The judge accepted the plea. 6 months, minus time served and good behavior, I'd be out in 4. They took me into custody immediately. Back to the county jail. Issued jail clothes. Assigned to a different cell. I received divorce papers 3 weeks later. No contest and no alimony. She kept the house. I signed them without reading the details. I gave them to the guard to mail back. Just like that, I was no longer married, no longer a homeowner, no longer employed, just an inmate with a number, waiting for time to pass. Freedom came on a Wednesday, 4 months after I entered the system. The sun felt different on my skin, brighter somehow. A good friend of mine picked me up and took me to my probation officer, reviewed the terms, regular check-ins, no contact with my ex-wife or her boyfriend, anger management classes. I nodded at everything he said. My friend offered me a room until I got settled and a job at his warehouse, not driving trucks, just loading them. Less money, but a start. I accepted both. The warehouse job was hard, physical and exhausting, but exactly what I needed to help get on my feet. I worked until my muscles burned, until I was too tired to think, too tired to remember. The anger management classes helped. I learned to recognize triggers, to step back before losing control, to channel the anger into something productive. Months passed. I saved money. I found a small apartment. I bought used furniture. I built a new routine, home, work, and the gym, simple and structured. My probation officer said I was making good progress. I believed him. The divorce was finalized during my time inside, all ties legally severed. I heard through mutual friends that my ex-wife and the cook were still together, living in our old house. The news didn't hurt like I expected. It felt distant, like hearing about strangers. I declined when friends offered to set me up on dates. I was definitely not ready for any blind dates. Maybe never would be. Trust was harder to rebuild than my life. 1 year after my release, I was promoted at the warehouse, supervisor. More money, more responsibility. I celebrated alone. Takeout food and a movie. It was enough. My probation ended after 2 years. The officer shook my hand at our last meeting. "Don't see you back here," he said. I told him, "I promise you will never see me again." That night, I drove past our old house. New paint, different car in the driveway. I felt nothing, just memories without the pain. I didn't stop and I didn't look back. I just kept driving. The road stretched ahead, not as a truck driver. Those days were behind me, but as someone finding his way forward, step by step, day by day, building something new from the wreckage, something stronger, something mine. The lessons were hard. Jealousy destroys, anger blinds, violence solves nothing, but also I am resilient. I can lose everything and survive. I can start over. 3 years after that text message destroyed my marriage, I was whole again, different and scarred, but whole. Not looking for love, not afraid of it either. Just living each day as it comes. The man who went to jail isn't the same man who came out. That man was consumed by rage and betrayal. This man understands that some things aren't worth the cost. Some fights aren't worth fighting. Some love isn't worth saving, and that's okay. Moving forward doesn't mean forgetting the past. It means learning from it, carrying those lessons into the future I'm building for myself, one choice at a time. Oh, by the way, I asked my lawyer about the crime of passion. He said it didn't exist, especially in Virginia.